She thought she was safe until the truth emerged. Behind every closed door lies a story of betrayal, fear, and unimaginable tragedy. This is not just another crime story, this is the chilling reality of female murders and the hidden epidemic of femicide. Stay tuned as we uncover the darkest secrets and most shocking cases that the world couldn't ignore. In February 2020, Hannah Clarke and her 3 children were murdered in Brisbane by her estranged husband, Rowan Baxter. Baxter doused the family car with petrol and set it alight while they were inside. The case highlighted issues of domestic violence and coercive control in Australia, leading to increased public discourse and calls for legal reforms to better protect victims.
Yazzie, a 32-year-old Navajo woman and mother of 3, went missing in 2019. Her remains were discovered 2 years later on the Hopi Reservation. Her boyfriend, Tracy James, was convicted of her murder and sentenced to life in prison. Yazzie's case underscores the broader issue of violence against Indigenous women and has been a focal point in the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women (MMIW) movement.
The hardest part, I guess, to see her remains. But now that justice has been served,
Laci Denise Peterson was an American woman murdered by her husband, Scott Lee Peterson, while 8 months pregnant with their first child, whom the couple had planned to name Connor. On December 23, 2002, Scott reported Laci missing from their home in Modesto, California. On April 13, 2003, 2 people walking their dog found the body of a male fetus on a tidal flat of the San Francisco Bay Shore in Richmond's Point Isabel Regional Shoreline Park. The following day, a jogger spotted a human torso in the riprap along the Point Isabel shoreline, approximately 1 mile from where the body of the fetus was found. On April 18, 2003, DNA tests verified the bodies were Laci and her unborn son Connor. Connor's body had minor decomposition, mutilations on his right side, and a length of nylon cord wrapped around his body. The source of the mutilations and how the cord became wrapped around Connor's body could not be conclusively determined. Laci's body was bloated, missing her head, arms, most of her legs, her internal organs, and was severely decomposed. The autopsy revealed Laci had 2 cracked ribs and her uterus and cervix were intact. The missing head and limbs led to rumors that Scott had dismembered Laci beforehand, but Dr. Peterson found no human-made incisions. Dr. Peterson and state forensic pathologists testified the missing organs and disarticulation were conditions consistent with a body weighted at the wrists and ankles and submerged in seawater for several months. Laci's head, arms, and legs were never recovered. Prosecutors alleged Scott made 5 anchors and used 4, one tied to each of Laci's wrists and ankles, to sink Laci's body in San Francisco Bay. In 2004, Scott was found guilty of the first-degree murder of Laci and the second-degree murder of Connor. His death sentence was overturned in 2020. The next year, Scott was re-sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In 2024, he was granted a status hearing in response to a request by the LA Innocence Project, a non-profit legal advocacy organization claiming to have new evidence supporting his innocence.
Masa Vukotic, a 17-year-old schoolgirl, was stabbed to death while jogging in a Melbourne park in March 2015. Her attacker, Sean Price, had a history of violent offenses and was on bail at the time. The case raised concerns about the management of violent offenders and led to discussions about systemic failures in protecting the public from known threats. Sania Khan, a 29-year-old Pakistani-American photographer, was murdered by her estranged husband, Raheel Ahmad, in her Chicago apartment on July 18, 2022. Sania had been openly sharing her divorce journey on TikTok, discussing the cultural stigmas associated with divorce in South Asian communities. Ahmad traveled from Georgia to Chicago, where he fatally shot Sania Khan before turning the gun on himself as police arrived. This tragic incident highlighted issues of domestic violence and the challenges faced by women confronting cultural taboos. In July 2024, former soldier Kyle Clifford, 26, was found guilty of a premeditated attack resulting in the deaths of his ex-girlfriend Louise Hunt, 25, her sister Hannah Hunt, 28, and their mother Carol Hunt, 61. Clifford meticulously planned the assault following the end of his 18-month relationship with Louise, driven by anger towards the Hunt family for influencing the breakup. He used a crossbow to murder Louise and Hannah and fatally stabbed Carol. Clifford was sentenced to life imprisonment.